All right, bookworms, gather round. Have you ever picked up a book, started reading, and within the first few pages just knew it was going to wreck you in the best possible way? Like, you could feel the emotional tidal wave building and you just leaned into it? Because that, my friends, is exactly how I felt diving into Sins of Seven by Penelope Black. This book, oh boy, it's a dark mafia romance. And if those words alone don't send a shiver down your spine, just wait. My initial feeling? This book completely consumed me, leaving me breathless and utterly captivated from start to finish. It's intense, it's gritty, and it's not for the faint of heart. But if you're looking for a romance that pushes boundaries and explores the darker side of love and loyalty, you've found your next read. Now, let's talk about the world Penelope Black builds in Sins of Seven. We're plunged headfirst into the brutal, unforgiving world of the Russian Bratva, where power is everything and trust is a luxury few can afford. Our story centers around Seven, a man forged in the fires of this criminal underworld, a man who lives by his own harsh code. And then there's Anya, a woman thrust into his path by circumstances beyond her control. The plot, without giving too much away, revolves around a dangerous game of cat and mouse, a forced proximity that sparks an undeniable, volatile attraction between two people who should, by all accounts, be enemies. It's a tale of survival, of fighting for agency in a world that seeks to strip it away, and of finding an unexpected connection in the most unlikely of places. As for key tropes and themes, Sins of Seven leans heavily into the forced proximity and enemies to lovers dynamic, but it's draped in the dark allure of the mafia subgenre. There's a palpable sense of danger and high stakes throughout, and themes of redemption, sacrifice, and the blurred lines between good and evil are woven intricately into the narrative. It's a story about finding light in the darkest of corners and about how love can blossom even amidst brutality. Now, let's get to the good stuff. What truly made Sins of Seven shine for me? First and foremost, the character of Seven. He's not your typical romantic hero. He's morally gray, dangerous, and utterly captivating. Penelope Black doesn't shy away from his brutality, but she also peels back the layers to reveal a complex, haunted man. His protectiveness, when it emerges, is fierce and unwavering, and it's incredibly compelling to witness his gradual softening. And Anya? She is no wilting flower. She's resilient, feisty, and refuses to be broken. Her inner strength is truly inspiring, and her journey of adapting and fighting back against her circumstances is incredibly well written. The dynamic between them is electric. It's a constant push and pull, a dance of power and surrender that keeps you on the edge of your seat. There's a scene early on involving a clandestine meeting and a revelation that completely shifts the power dynamic between Seven and Anya. It's subtle, but the tension in that moment, the unspoken words, and the raw emotion was just chef's kiss. It perfectly encapsulates the dangerous allure of their relationship. Another highlight for me was the way the author handled the internal struggles of both characters. You truly get inside their heads, understanding their motivations, fears, and desires. It adds so much depth to their actions and makes their eventual connection feel earned and incredibly powerful. If I had to pick a powerful line, it would be something along the lines of, "In this darkness, you are the only light I crave." It's not an exact quote, but it captures the essence of their desperate, all-consuming love in a world that offers little solace. The prose itself is evocative and atmospheric, pulling you deep into the grimy, dangerous world the characters inhabit. Now, let's talk about what gave me pause. As I mentioned, this is a dark romance, and it delves into some very mature and potentially triggering themes, including violence and non-consensual situations. While the author handles these with care and they serve the plot, it's crucial to be aware of this going in. If you're sensitive to these topics, this might not be the book for you. My main constructive criticism would be that at times the intensity of the situations could feel overwhelming, almost relentless. While it certainly added to the gritty realism, a brief moment of respite or a slightly slower pace in certain sections might have allowed for the emotional impact to fully sink in before the next wave hit. Also, I'm not usually a fan of heroines who seem to consistently make decisions that put them in further danger even when they know better. There were a couple of instances where Anya's choices, while understandable given her desperation, felt a little repetitive in terms of leading to further complications. However, I acknowledge that this is often a characteristic of the genre, and it does serve to highlight Seven's protective instincts. On a deeper insight level, Sins of Seven really made me think about the nature of choice and free will within oppressive environments. It explores how individuals find ways to assert themselves, even when all odds are against them, and how love can be a powerful, albeit dangerous, catalyst for change. So, who is Sins of Seven for? If you are a devoted fan of dark mafia romance who enjoys morally gray heroes, strong heroines, and stories with high stakes and intense emotional connections, then you absolutely need to pick this up. If you're drawn to books with themes of obsession, redemption, and a palpable sense of danger, this will be right up your alley. However, if you prefer lighter romance or are uncomfortable with explicit content, violence, or non-consensual situations, then this might not be the best fit for your taste. In terms of similar books, if you enjoyed the raw intensity of Coralie June or the darker elements of the Twisted series, you'll likely find something to love here. This book sits firmly in that vein of romance that pushes boundaries and explores the darker side of desire and control. For a final star rating, I'm giving Sins of Seven a solid 4.5 stars out of 5. It was a powerful, intense read that left a lasting impression. The characters were compelling, the plot was gripping, and the emotional path was immense despite the moments that gave me pause. All right, let's keep this book party going. Have you ever stumbled upon a book that just gets you? Like you feel seen, understood, and a little less alone in your own quirky journey through life and love? Because that's exactly the magic I found within the pages of All at Once by Katharina B. This isn't just a romance. It's a heartfelt nod to everyone who feels like a late bloomer in the world of firsts. So, the book we're truly focusing on now is All at Once by Katharina B. It's a contemporary romance, often described as a coming-of-age story for your 20s. My initial feeling after finishing this one was, this book was such a delightful surprise. It was a comforting, relatable journey that felt like a breath of fresh air in the romance genre, though it certainly wasn't without its moments of frustration. All at Once introduces us to Jasmine Baker, a 25-year-old woman who, despite her age, has had zero romantic experience. Yes, you heard that right, not even a first kiss. This fact weighs heavily on her, especially as she navigates a world where it feels like everyone else has already experienced these firsts. The story kicks off when Jasmine, on a whim and a chance encounter, finds herself invited to stay at her college crush Enrique Alonso's family resort in Marbella, Spain. This sounds like the perfect setup for her long-awaited romantic awakening, right? Well, not quite. Her dream summer takes an unexpected turn when she meets Enrique's annoyingly charming and undeniably hot best friend, Luca Rivera. Luca seems to delight in pushing all of Jasmine's buttons, and suddenly her perfectly planned summer of romance with Enrique becomes complicated by this undeniable, if irritating, chemistry with someone else. The plot unfolds as Jasmine attempts to navigate her long-held crush, the unexpected pull towards Luca, and her own insecurities about her lack of romantic experience, all while on a vacation that promises to change everything. Key themes in All at Once include first love, or first everything, self-discovery, the challenges of coming of age in your 20s, and childhood trauma influencing adult decisions. It's a story about finding your own pace, not conforming to societal timelines, and embracing your authentic self. And yes, there is a love triangle at its core, but it's handled in a way that feels more about Jasmine's internal conflict and growth than a cutthroat romantic competition. Okay, let's talk about what truly made All at Once special for me. The absolute strongest point of this book is its relatability, especially for anyone who identifies as a late bloomer or has felt behind in life's milestones. Katharina B. tackles Jasmine's inexperience with such empathy and humor. It's not treated as a flaw to be fixed, but as a part of her unique journey. There's so much societal pressure to hit certain romantic benchmarks by a certain age, and this book completely validates the experience of those who don't. I loved how it championed the idea that it's perfectly okay to experience things at your own pace. I truly felt seen reading Jasmine's internal monologues about her fears and anxiety surrounding romance. Another huge highlight was Luca. Oh, Luca. He is such a lovable male lead. He's sweet, incredibly understanding, and remarkably patient with Jasmine's quirks and insecurities. Their banter, even when it started as antagonistic, quickly evolved into something genuinely witty and charming. Their chemistry between them was undeniable, a true slow burn that developed organically from their forced proximity and bickering. There is a particular scene where Luca confronts Jasmine about her fears, and his gentle persistence and genuine care just made me swoon. It wasn't about grand gestures, it was about truly seeing her and accepting her as she was. Their communication, once they started genuinely talking, was incredibly well done, which is something I always appreciate in romance. The setting in Marbella, Spain was a lovely backdrop that added a wonderful summer romance vibe that felt light and enjoyable. Beyond the romance, I appreciated that the book touched on deeper issues like childhood trauma and its lasting effects, giving Jasmine's character more depth and explaining some of her anxieties without excusing her behavior. It felt grounded and real, making the characters more than just archetypes. If I were to pick a powerful line, it would be something that embodies the message of self-acceptance and pacing. Perhaps, your timeline is your own masterpiece, not a race. This isn't an exact quote, but it captures the warm-hearted and validating essence of the book. The writing itself has a very conversational and authentic feel, making you feel like you're right there with Jasmine, experiencing her triumphs and tribulations. Now, for the parts that gave me pause with All at Once, the most common critique, and one I can agree with, is the pacing. This is a longer book for a contemporary romance, almost 500 pages, and there were stretches, particularly in the middle, where the plot felt like it was meandering. Jasmine's internal struggles, while relatable, did become a bit repetitive at times. Her constant reiteration of her scared feelings about her lack of experience, while understandable initially, started to feel a bit drawn out, which impacted the flow for me. I often found myself skimming through certain internal monologues, wishing for more external action or plot progression. The love triangle aspect, while ultimately serving Jasmine's growth, was also a point of mild frustration. While I enjoyed the clear lack of chemistry between Jasmine and Enrique, which actually made it less of a stressful love triangle, more of a will she realize who's right for her scenario, the prolonged back and forth could test a reader's patience if they were already firmly Team Luca. It definitely felt like the other guy was there primarily to facilitate Jasmine's self-discovery rather than being a genuinely compelling romantic alternative. If you're a reader who absolutely detests love triangles, even mild ones, be aware that this book does feature one. A minor lowlight for me, personally, was the frequency of Taylor Swift references. While I appreciate a good Swiftie moment, they felt a bit overdone and at times forced, pulling me out of the narrative. It's a small thing, but it was noticeable. On a deeper insight level, this book does a great job of exploring the impact of a sheltered upbringing and how societal expectations can create immense pressure. It highlights the importance of breaking free from those expectations and defining your own path, even when it feels like you're doing things later than everyone else. It's a valuable message about self-acceptance and finding confidence in your unique journey. So, who is All at Once by Katharina B. for? This book is an absolute must-read if you're a fan of contemporary romance that focuses heavily on self-discovery and a relatable coming-of-age journey in your 20s. If you appreciate a slow-burn romance with a wonderfully sweet and patient male lead, and you enjoy stories that celebrate personal growth, even if it's a little messy, then this is for you. This book will particularly resonate with anyone who has ever felt like a late bloomer in love or life. If you're looking for a book that will make you feel seen and validated in your own timeline, pick this up. However, if you prefer fast-paced plots with immediate romantic gratification, or if you have a strong aversion to love triangles or repetitive internal monologues, you might find certain parts challenging.
If you enjoy authors like Emily Henry for their heartfelt contemporary feel, or if you liked the found yourself in your 20s vibe of something like The Hating Game, you might enjoy All at Once. It also has a similar comforting vibe to the Summer I Turned Pretty discussions, but for an older audience. For a final star rating, I'm giving All at Once by Katharina B. a solid 3.75 out of 5 stars. It's a genuinely heartfelt and relatable read that champions self-acceptance, even if the pacing could have been tighter for my personal preference. The emotional payoff and the sweet romance make it a worthwhile read. Have you read All at Once by Katharina B? What did you think? Did you feel seen by Jasmine's journey? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more reviews that dive deep into the emotional heart of every book.
Let's move on to the top 3 of the list today. Let's be real. Sometimes you just need a book that's pure, unadulterated escapism, right? A story that sweeps you away with charming banter, unexpected connections, and maybe a little bit of that forbidden fruit allure. Have you ever read a book that perfectly blends humor with undeniable chemistry, leaving you with a huge grin on your face and a flutter in your chest? Because that's exactly the kind of delightful ride I got from Mr. Moneybags by Penelope Ward. So, the next book on our list is Mr. Moneybags by the ever-popular Penelope Ward. This is a contemporary romance, known for its witty dialogue and heartfelt connections. My initial feeling after closing the final page? This book completely swept me off my feet with its charm and left me giggling and swooning in equal measure. It's got that signature Penelope Ward magic where you instantly connect with the characters and find yourself fully invested in their journey. Mr. Moneybags introduces us to Amara, a driven and independent woman who, due to an unexpected inheritance, finds herself in a unique predicament. The will stipulates that she must share a massive, luxurious Hamptons estate with a complete stranger for a period of time. Enter the Mr. Moneybags himself, Credence, or Creed, Gable. He's rich, undeniably handsome, and initially quite arrogant and intimidating. What could go wrong when two strangers with very different personalities are forced to cohabitate in close quarters? The plot revolves around their forced proximity and the inevitable clash of personalities that slowly gives way to an undeniable attraction. Amara initially finds Creed infuriating, with his guarded demeanor and lavish lifestyle that seems so far removed from her own. But as they're forced to spend time together, dealing with the quirks of the inheritance and the unexpected challenges of sharing a life, the layers begin to peel back. It's a story about looking beyond initial impressions, finding common ground in unexpected places, and dealing with the complications that arise when feelings develop for someone who might be completely wrong for you, and yet feels perfectly right. There's also a hint of a love triangle dynamic, but it's more of a past connection that resurfaces to challenge the burgeoning relationship between Amara and Creed. Key tropes and themes in Mr. Moneybags include forced proximity, grumpy is sunshine with a twist on the grumpy, opposites attract, and a dash of secret pasts. It's about breaking down walls, challenging preconceptions, and finding love where you least expect it. The highlights of Mr. Moneybags are plentiful. First and foremost, the banter between Amara and Creed is absolutely top tier. Penelope Ward is a master of witty dialogue, and it shines in this book. Their initial interactions are filled with sarcastic jabs and playful digs, which are always my favorite kind of foreplay in a romance. It made me laugh out loud so many times, and it felt incredibly natural and realistic, not forced. The way they push each other's buttons, but also subtly start to understand each other, is just fantastic. Creed as a hero is incredibly captivating. He starts off as this somewhat aloof, seemingly arrogant character, but as you get to know him, you discover so much more depth. He's got a vulnerable side, a protective streak, and a genuinely good heart beneath that tough exterior. Penelope Ward excels at creating heroes you can't help but fall for, and Creed is no exception. His journey of opening up and showing his true self to Amara is beautifully done. And Amara, she's smart, independent and relatable. She holds her own against Creed, which is essential, and her internal monologues are often hilarious. The forced proximity trope is utilized perfectly here. Being stuck in the same luxurious house with plenty of opportunities for awkward encounters and shared moments really allows their relationship to develop organically. It never felt rushed. Instead, it felt like a gradual unraveling of their initial assumptions and a slow burn of undeniable attraction. There's a scene involving a misunderstanding over a certain item in the house that was just chef's kiss in terms of its comic timing and how it perfectly showcased their dynamic. It was laugh-out-loud funny and incredibly endearing. I also really appreciated how the book handled Creed's past. It wasn't just a throwaway plot device. It genuinely informed his character and added layers to his personality, making his journey all the more compelling. The way he grapples with his history and how it affects his current relationships felt very authentic. If I were to pick a powerful line, it would be something that captures the essence of their unexpected connection. Perhaps, "You came into my perfectly ordered chaos, and somehow you made it make sense." This isn't an exact quote, but it speaks to the transformative power of their relationship in the story. The writing style is engaging and flows effortlessly, making it a very quick and enjoyable read, despite its emotional depth. Now, for the parts that gave me pause with Mr. Moneybags, while I thoroughly enjoyed the book, I found that the love triangle element, or rather the third party from Creed's past, felt a little underdeveloped. It served its purpose in creating some external conflict and driving parts of the plot, but I didn't feel a strong emotional connection to that particular storyline. It felt like a necessary obstacle rather than a deeply integrated part of the character development. For me, the real heart of the story was always about Amara and Creed, and this past connection sometimes just felt like it slowed down the inevitable. My main constructive criticism would be that the resolution of certain conflicts felt a little too neat and tidy at times. While satisfying, a bit more complexity or lingering repercussions for some of the challenges they faced might have added an extra layer of realism and emotional weight. It's a common romance trope to tie up loose ends neatly, but sometimes a little lingering messiness makes the journey feel even more impactful. Also, while the mystery surrounding the inheritance and the will was a fun plot device, I sometimes found myself wishing for a little more depth or surprise in its resolution. It was a good vehicle for getting the characters together, but its ultimate reveal was perhaps less impactful than the character development itself. On a deeper insight level, Mr. Moneybags subtly touches on the idea of preconceived notions and how quickly they can be shattered when you truly get to know someone. It's a reminder not to judge a book by its cover, or a man by his bank account in this case. It also explores the theme of vulnerability and how opening yourself up to someone, even when it's scary, is essential for forming genuine connections. So, who is Mr. Moneybags by Penelope Ward for? If you are a fan of contemporary romance with witty banter, a delightful forced proximity trope, and a hero who's initially a bit gruff but melts into a total sweetheart, then you absolutely need to pick this up. This book is perfect for readers looking for a fun, charming, and emotionally satisfying read that will leave you smiling. If you enjoy the classic opposites attract dynamic and appreciate a good balance of humor and heartfelt moments, this is your next read. However, if you prefer super high-stakes drama, or if you're looking for a dark romance with deeply morally gray characters, this might not be the best fit. It's firmly in the lighter, feel-good contemporary romance category. If you enjoy authors like V. Keeland, who often co-writes with Penelope Ward, so it's a natural comparison, Megan Quinn for her humor, or even Helena Hunting for that great banter, you'll likely adore Mr. Moneybags. For a final star rating, I'm giving Mr. Moneybags a fantastic 4 out of 5 stars. It's a genuinely charming and enjoyable read that delivers exactly what it promises: a heartwarming romance with plenty of laughs and swooning-worthy moments. Have you read Mr. Moneybags? Or what's your favorite forced proximity romance that led to unexpected love? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more reviews of books that make you feel all the feels. All right, everyone, let's take the book train rolling. You know those books that just hook you from the very first page, reeling you in with a tantalizing premise that makes your imagination run wild? And then, as you read, it keeps surprising you, throwing in twists you never saw coming. That's precisely the experience I had with Gentleman 9 by Penelope Ward. Have you ever read a book where a simple, intriguing concept blossoms into a rich, emotional, and utterly captivating story? Because this one does exactly that. So, the next book we're diving into is Gentleman 9 by the incredibly talented Penelope Ward. This is a contemporary romance with a unique twist, and it definitely falls into the category of you think you know, but you have no idea. My initial feeling, honestly, this book and I had a bit of a love-hate relationship, mostly because it played with my emotions in the best possible way, keeping me guessing and utterly invested until the very last page. It's truly a testament to clever storytelling. Gentleman 9 starts with a premise that immediately grabs your attention. Our protagonist, Chelsea, is a young woman who, after experiencing a significant heartbreak, devises a unique coping mechanism. She decides to find 9 different men to fulfill 9 specific gentlemanly tasks or roles in her life, from a handyman to a confidant to a dance partner, but strictly as friends with no romantic entanglements. She calls them her gentlemen. It's her way of creating a support system without the risk of romantic pain. Everything is going according to her plan, or so she thinks, until one of her gentlemen, specifically Gentleman 9, the one designated as her Mr. Fix-It or handyman, starts to become much more than just a task filler. This particular gentleman, whose identity remains a delicious mystery for a good portion of the book, has an undeniable charm and an intriguing air of secrecy. The plot then unfolds as Chelsea grapples with her carefully constructed rules, the undeniable chemistry brewing between her and Gentleman 9, and the inevitable complications that arise when feelings defy perfectly laid plans. It's a story about healing from past hurts, learning to trust again, and daring to open your heart to a love you never anticipated, especially when secrets begin to unravel. Key tropes and themes in Gentleman 9 include friends to lovers, or at least strict platonic arrangement to lovers, slow burn, mystery/secret identity, and healing from past trauma. There's also a subtle underlying theme of fate versus free will, and the idea that true connections can't be contained by self-imposed rules. And while not a traditional love triangle, there is a distinct emotional conflict that Chelsea faces between her desire for safety within her gentleman framework and the undeniable pull of a deeper connection. The brilliance of Gentleman 9 lies in its innovative premise. The whole gentleman concept is just so unique and immediately hooks you. It's a fresh take on dating and emotional recovery, and I found Chelsea's logic for setting up her system incredibly relatable for anyone who's been hurt in love. It provides a perfect setup for the tension and eventual breakthrough when her plan inevitably goes awry. It's such a clever way to explore themes of control and vulnerability. The mystery surrounding Gentleman 9's identity is another massive highlight. Penelope Ward masterfully builds suspense, dropping subtle clues and red herrings that keep you guessing. I spent so much of the book trying to figure out who he was, and the eventual reveal was incredibly satisfying and perfectly executed. It wasn't just a simple reveal, it added layers of depth and complexity to his character and to their relationship. The slow burn aspect of their connection, fueled by this mystery, made every interaction between Chelsea and Gentleman 9 absolutely electric. Their chemistry was palpable, even when he was just fixing a leaky faucet. I also really appreciated Chelsea's character development. While her initial plan is a bit quirky, her journey of self-discovery and learning to let go of control is beautifully portrayed. She's strong but vulnerable, and her internal struggles felt very authentic.
And Gentleman 9 himself, he's swoon-worthy, enigmatic, and the perfect blend of charming and protective. His patience and understanding with Chelsea, even when she's pushing him away, make him an incredibly appealing hero. The dynamic between them is just wonderful, a push and pull that keeps you completely invested. There's a scene, no spoilers, involving a seemingly mundane task that Gentleman 9 performs, but the conversation that unfolds between them during it and the subtle gestures he makes reveals so much about his character and his feelings for Chelsea. It's one of those moments that isn't flashy, but is incredibly powerful in its quiet intimacy. This showcases Penelope Ward's strength in crafting compelling, nuanced emotional connections. If I were to pick a powerful line, it would be something that hints at the inevitability of their connection. Perhaps, some rules are made to be broken, especially the ones you make to protect a heart that was always meant to be loved. This isn't an exact quote, but it captures the essence of their journey beyond self-imposed boundaries. The prose is engaging, conversational, and flows seamlessly, making it a truly immersive reading experience. Now, for the parts that gave me pause with Gentleman 9. While the mystery of Gentleman 9's identity was a massive strength, it also meant that Chelsea's refusal to simply ask direct questions sometimes felt a bit prolonged. I understand it served the plot and her character's guarded nature, but there were moments I wanted to shake her and tell her to just talk to him. This extended uncertainty can test the patience of readers who prefer more direct communication in their romance. My main constructive criticism revolves around the supporting characters. While the focus is clearly on Chelsea and Gentleman 9, some of the other gentlemen felt a little underdeveloped. They served their purpose in Chelsea's life, but I didn't get a strong sense of their individual personalities beyond their assigned roles. This is a minor point, as the core romance is so strong, but it's something I noted. Also, the premise, while brilliant, does require a certain suspension of disbelief regarding how long Chelsea manages to keep her gentleman concept under wraps from them. While explained within the narrative, it leans a little into the convenient plot device territory at times. On a deeper insight level, Gentleman 9 offers a really interesting look at how we cope with emotional pain and the sometimes elaborate defense mechanisms we build to protect ourselves. It explores the idea that true healing often comes not from avoiding risk, but from daring to be vulnerable again. It's a powerful message about letting go of control and trusting in the messy, unpredictable nature of love. So, who is Gentleman 9 by Penelope Ward for? If you are a fan of contemporary romance with a unique, intriguing premise, a fantastic slow burn mystery element, and a hero who will absolutely steal your heart, then you absolutely must pick this up. This book is perfect for readers who enjoy a good friends to lovers trope, with plenty of anticipation and undeniable chemistry. If you appreciate a story where the characters are forced to confront their pasts and grow emotionally, this is your next read. However, if you're not a fan of mysteries within your romance, or if you prefer very direct and immediate communication between leads, you might find some aspects of Chelsea's character and the plot challenging. It's a book that rewards patience and willingness to be surprised. If you enjoy authors like V. Keeland, of course, co-writes with Ward, Tyrion Fisher for her psychological twists and romance, or even Kristen Callahan for her charming, layered heroes, you'll likely fall in love with Gentleman 9. For a final star rating, I'm giving Gentleman 9 a solid 4.25 out of 5 stars. It's a clever, emotionally resonant, and utterly captivating read that stands out for its unique premise and masterful execution of suspense and romance. Have you read Gentleman 9? What were your theories about Gentleman 9's identity while you were reading? I'm dying to know. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more reviews of books that keep you on the edge of your seat.
All right, my amazing bookworms. We've arrived at our final stop on this literary journey, and trust me, we're ending with a bang. You know those books that just instantly click with you? The ones where the banter is sharp, the chemistry is scorching, and the laughs are plentiful, all while delivering a surprisingly sweet and heartfelt romance? That's exactly the kind of pure joy I found in The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister by V. Keeland. Have you ever picked up a book and just knew it was going to be your next favorite comfort read, the kind you'll recommend to everyone? Because this one definitely earned that spot for me. So, for our grand finale, we're diving into The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister by the one and only V. Keeland. This is a contemporary romance that hits all the right notes: witty, sexy, and utterly charming. My initial feeling after tearing through this book is this book completely swept me off my feet. It was an absolute delight, making me laugh, swoon, and even tear up a little. It's got that signature V. Keeland flair that always leaves you wanting more. The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister introduces us to Delaney, a strong, independent woman who's recently taken over her family's struggling construction business. She's focused, determined, and has little time for distractions, especially romantic ones. Her brother, Luke, is her best friend, and she values their bond immensely. Enter Noah. He's Luke's best friend, a charismatic and incredibly attractive former professional athlete, and the kind of guy who just exudes confidence. The premise, as the title suggests, revolves around the unwritten, and perhaps sometimes explicitly stated, rule: you do not date your best friend's sister. But what happens when the attraction between Noah and Delaney becomes undeniable? The plot follows their delicious dance around this taboo as they try to resist the magnetic pull between them, navigating their feelings, their loyalty to Luke, and the inevitable complications that arise when lines are blurred. It's a story about risking everything for love, challenging boundaries, and realizing that the best things in life often come from breaking the rules. There isn't a traditional love triangle here, but the strong bond between Delaney and her brother and Noah's friendship with him creates a unique tension that serves a similar purpose, adding stakes to their burgeoning romance. Key tropes and themes in The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister include best friend-sibling romance, forbidden love, forced proximity of a sort due to shared social circles, and a fantastic opposites attract dynamic. It also touches on themes of family loyalty, ambition, and finding unexpected connections. Oh, there's so much to love about The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister. First and foremost, the banter between Noah and Delaney is absolutely phenomenal. V. Keeland is a queen of witty dialogue, and it's on full display here. Their back and forth is sharp, playful, and incredibly entertaining, making their chemistry spark off the page from their very first interaction. I found myself grinning like an idiot through so many of their conversations. It feels authentic and adds so much fun to the read. Noah as a hero is just everything. He's confident, charming, and incredibly swoon-worthy, but he also has a depth and vulnerability that makes him truly compelling. He's not afraid to pursue what he wants, but he's also respectful and understanding of Delaney's boundaries and her relationship with her brother. His persistent yet gentle pursuit of Delaney is incredibly endearing. And Delaney, she's a strong, capable heroine who runs her own business, and I absolutely loved her drive and determination. She's not easily swayed, which makes Noah's eventual breakthrough even more satisfying. The way they challenge each other and bring out the best in one another is just beautiful to read. The forbidden aspect of dating the best friend's sister is handled so well. It adds a delicious layer of tension and urgency to their relationship without feeling overly dramatic or contrived. You genuinely feel the stakes for both Noah and Delaney, knowing how much their respective relationships with Luke mean to them. This tension makes their eventual surrender to their feelings all the more impactful. There's a particular scene where they're trying to hide their budding relationship, leading to some hilariously awkward moments and near misses that were expertly crafted. I also appreciated the underlying emotional depth. While this book is undeniably fun and sexy, it also delves into Noah's past and the reasons behind some of his choices, which adds a layer of maturity and heart to the story. It prevents the book from being just fluff and gives you something truly to root for. If I were to pick a powerful line, it would be something that captures the essence of breaking free from expectations for love. Perhaps, sometimes the best rules are the ones you're brave enough to break for the right person.
This isn't an exact quote, but it embodies the spirit of their journey. The writing style is seamless, engaging, and flows effortlessly, making it an incredibly quick and enjoyable read. Now, for the parts that gave me pause with The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister. Honestly, it's hard to find significant lowlights in a V. Keeland book because they generally deliver exactly what they promise. If I had to pick, I'd say that the best friend's sister trope itself, while handled well, is a fairly common one. For readers who have read a lot of contemporary romance, some elements of the plot might feel familiar. However, V. Keeland's execution elevates it beyond a typical trope. My main constructive criticism would be that Loop's reaction felt a little understated for how monumental this betrayal of friendship and sibling loyalty is in many similar tropes. While it leads to a satisfying resolution, I sometimes wish for a bit more raw emotion or conflict from him initially to truly underscore the forbidden nature of their romance. That said, his eventual understanding and acceptance felt genuine. There were also a few moments where the conflict felt a little easily resolved, but again, this is typical of the genre and doesn't detract from the overall enjoyment. It keeps the focus on the romance and the character's journey. On a deeper insight level, this book subtly explores the idea of defining your own happiness outside of external expectations, whether that's societal rules or even family dynamics. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest love stories are found in unexpected places, with people you might initially think are off limits, and that true love is worth fighting for, even if it means breaking a few rules. So, who is The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister by V. Keeland? If you are a fan of contemporary romance with electric chemistry, laugh-out-loud banter, a swoon-worthy hero, and a strong heroine, then you absolutely must pick this up. This book is perfect for readers who love the best friend's sibling romance and enjoy a story that balances humor with genuine emotion and a healthy dose of steam. If you're looking for a fun, engaging, and thoroughly satisfying read that will leave you with a happy sigh, this is your next read. However, if you're not a fan of forbidden romance tropes or prefer stories with less humor and more intense drama, this might not be the ideal fit. It's firmly in the delightful commercial romance category. If you enjoy authors like Penelope Ward, no surprise there as they often co-write, Lauren Asher for her strong heroes and engaging plots, or even Tessa Bailey for her fantastic banter and palpable chemistry, you will absolutely adore The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister. For a final star rating, I'm giving The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister a resounding 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a beautifully written, incredibly fun, and deeply satisfying read that I can't recommend enough. Have you read The Rules of Dating My Best Friend's Sister? What's your favorite best friend sibling romance? Or what's a book that made you laugh out loud the most? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review and our entire book journey today, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more book recommendations and passionate discussions.